The feeling of a 2,000+ pound animal running full speed into the arena, stopping, braiding, and turning all three barrels and running home is a great feeling of excitement and accomplishment. It is every cowgirl's dream to have good, clean runs every time they go out and perform. I am here today to discuss the history of barrel racing, how to take care of a seasoned barrel horse, the proper tack and attire to have, and the three different types of barrel racing. I am personally active in this sport, and I am trained by one of the best cowgirls in the Southern Circuit, Miss Crystal McIntyre. Now that you know a little bit of background information on my topic and myself, I would like to introduce my first main point, the history of barrel racing. The history of barrel racing dates back to the old rodeo days, when it was mostly just roping, bucking bulls, bucking broncs, and cutting. Barrel racing started to come about by cowboys and cowgirls just messing around and having fun. It didn't become serious until 1948. According to Gail Warner, the Girls Rodeo Association, the GRA, began in 1948. Several years later, in 1981, the GRA became the WPRA, which stands for Women's Professional Rodeo Association. Barrel racing first started in Texas and evolved from there. Until the sport of barrel racing, women did not have a specific event that they could compete in rodeos. They were basically at the mercy of men to decide if they were even allowed to compete in the rodeo at all. When barrel racing was first established, riders were required to ride a figure-8 pattern around the barrels and then run all the way home. Gail Warner states that in 1935 the Stanford event changed the barrel racing to a clover leaf pattern, but it was not judged strictly by time until 1949. Now that you know a little bit about the history of barrel racing, I will now talk about how to care for a barrel horse. Most barrel horses, like any other horse that are competed off of frequently, are spoiled rotten. My trainer and I feed our horses the best feed on the market along with alfalfa hay twice daily. Alfalfa hay is loaded with nutrients and that helps horses build muscle. It is important to feed a horse that you're running frequently so they hold their muscle tone. And it is important for them to keep a healthy amount of weight on. If you're competing every weekend and exercising your horse during the week, they need to be fed a lot. Another thing that my trainer and I do is take our horses to an equine specialist at least once every 6 months. This is to make sure that they are not sore anywhere and they do not need any chiropractic adjustment. The better your horse feels, the better it will perform for you. According to my doctor, Dr. Don Lesh, 99.9% of horses strive to please their owners. The last thing I do to keep my barrel horse in the best shape possible is that I keep him on joint supplements and all-natural allergy powder. He gets a scoop of these 2 times daily to keep his immune system tuned up and his joints moving without pain. Now that you have learned the basics on how to take care of a barrel horse, I will explain the right attire the rider must wear and the tack a barrel horse should have. Competing in barrel races and rodeos that have barrel races included, you must dress in appropriate attire. Also, your horse should be in an appropriate saddle that fits them properly, a bit that they respond to, and they should have the proper leg support. First, I'd like to discuss barrel saddles and their fit. For a horse to perform well, the tree within the actual saddle must be a good fit for both the horse and the rider. According to Martin Sallery, the tree is a critical point of contact on the horse's back. Through its fit determines how well it allows the horse to perform with comfort and ease. While running a barrel horse, you're asking that horse to run full speed into the arena, stop, right, and turn 3 barrels, and run all the way home. It is important to have the proper leg support while competing and even practicing, just to give your horse some support and to prevent injury. Attire is a big deal when you are performing at a rodeo. All contestants must be in official dress. You must wear a cowgirl hat and have a rodeo shirt on. Your rodeo shirt must have a collar, buttoned down, and have full length sleeves. This is a cowgirl hat. You can have any kind of cowgirl hat as long as it's a cowgirl hat, and I have a string on here so it doesn't fly off my head because you get points deducted if your hat flies off. This is the proper shirt to wear. It doesn't really matter unless you're on a rodeo team what color it is. It has a collar, button down, full length sleeves, and that is basically the attire that you need for a rodeo. Now that you have learned about attire and tack, I will present my last point, the different kinds of barrel racing in the Southeastern Circuit. There are Three different kinds of bale racing in the Southeastern Circuit. Jackpot bale races and rodeos are just little weekend events with money added to the pot. You pay your entry fees, and if you win, it is usually a 50% payback, plus the money you already added to the pot. At these shows, each division can win a saddle or a buckle, but that is only occasionally. The buckles that you may win look like this, and you put them on your belt and wear them around, and people will recognize you as a good rider. Futurities are for people that break and train colts and fillies. Usually in December of the horse's 4th year of age, they can be taken to futurities to be basically shown off. If you place in these futurities, the payback is really a really big cash prize. The last kind of bale races are pro rodeos and bale races. These professional events that only the best of the best compete in, and the payback is usually huge. Now that I've discussed my final main point, the different kinds of bale races and rodeos, I will now conclude. I have discussed the history of bale racing, how to care for a bale horse, the proper saddle and attire to have, and the three different kinds of bale races. I hope that you have learned a lot about the sport of bale racing and that you have found the sport very unique and interesting. Thank you.